Hello everyone, I welcome you all on YouTube to my channel Physics for You. I am Shruti, a teacher by profession and passion, here to tell you the topics covering 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th CBSE Physics. I hope through my videos I can make physics learning interesting for you. So like, share, subscribe and hit the notification icon. So before we proceed, let us quickly recall what we have already learnt. We had studied the types of motion in the last video. Yes? So the different types of motions were rectilinear, circular and periodic. Rectilinear was from the word itself, linear means in a straight line. So the motion in a straight line. It is also known as translatory motion. Next was circular. So again from the name, circular means in a circular path. So motion along a circular path will be the circular motion. Then periodic. What was periodic motion? Yes, again from the word we'll derive the meaning. Periodic means repetitive after a certain interval of time. So the motion which repeats itself after a certain interval of time was the periodic motion. Now we saw that the periodic motion was divided into two types, oscillatory and rotatory. What was oscillatory? The to and fro motion about the mean position. From the mean position to one extreme position, back to mean position, to another extreme position, again back to mean position. This type of repetitive motion was called as oscillatory. And if these to and fro motions are in fast paced, then we call them as vibratory motion, because vibrations are faster oscillations. And what was rotatory? Yes, the circular motion along the axis of rotation. Here also there is a mean position, that is the axis of rotation. Now instead of going and coming back, it was taking up one full circle. Then we also saw the examples. So for rectilinear motion, you can say any motion along a straight line. If you walk along a road, the vehicles moving along the straight road, all these were examples for rectilinear motion. For circular motion, what example we saw? There can be many examples. We saw the example of the electron revolving around the nucleus. Then for periodic motion, we saw the example of the wall clock, because it was a repetitive motion. Then the revolution of the earth along the sun, that was also the periodic motion. For oscillatory motion, we saw the example of a well-known example of the simple pendulum. And same way, the rotation of the wheels. The rotation of the wheels will be the example for rotatory motion. So that till here we had covered in the last video. In case if you have missed it out and still not subscribed, kindly subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon so that you do not miss any notifications. So today we will study a new topic. We will learn distance and displacement. Now since we have already studied motion, then we studied rest, and then we studied types of motion. So let us further move to the lesson and learn distance and displacement. So what do you mean by distance? Now we say that when an object changes its position with respect to time, the object is in motion. So if it is changing its position, it is traveling from one place to another. So we say it is covering a certain distance. So there goes the definition. The total path traveled by a body in moving from one place to another place. So one place or one point can be the initial position, another place or another point can be the final position. Okay? See, when a body is in motion, what does it do? It changes its position with respect to time and surrounding. So if it is changing its position, it is moving from one place to another. So the total path traveled by the body in moving from one point, that is the initial position, to another point, the final position, is called as the distance. Now for distance, we do not need any direction. The body can move in any direction. We do not specify the direction. Therefore, distance is also called as scalar quantity. Now what is a scalar quantity? For now in 9th class, you can only know that if no direction is required, we call it scalar quantity. More detail about it you will be studying in your 11th standard if you opt for science. But for now you can only remember, if no direction specified, it will be a scalar quantity. Okay? So the total distance or the total path or the actual path traveled by an object in moving from one point to another point is called as the distance. It does not require any direction. Therefore, it is a scalar quantity. Alright. Now see the example. There's one point A and there's another point B. So the red arrow shows that the body has moved from point A to point B. So whatever will be the path it will travel to move from point A to point B, or to reach from point A to point B, will be the distance. Okay? Now in doing so, it will not require any direction. Therefore, we will call it as scalar quantity. Alright. Now look carefully. For the body to reach from A to B, it can take any path. For example, it can follow the straight line path shown by the black arrow, or it can take another route. First, it can travel to this side, then again it can shift and slowly it can come towards B, the path shown by the green arrow. Or it can also opt a path like this, shown by the blue arrow. So here you can see the same object in traveling from point A to point B can opt three paths. This is three paths which I have shown. There can be more than this. One shown by the blue arrow, another one shown by the green arrow, and the third one shown by the black arrow. Is it clear? For example, if you have to go to school from your home. Now to reach from home to school, there can be 2-3 ways. Depending upon your convenience, if supposing you are running late, you will opt for another path. Yes, you will opt for another path. Or supposing if you are going through the same way, suddenly there is a traffic. So what will you do? You will change your path. In the same way, we have seen over here, the path has been changed thrice. Blue, black and green line shows that. So these are the different paths the body is using to reach from point A to point B. All this will be considered as the distance. The path through which it will travel, that will be considered as the distance. Okay. Now from this path, the shortest path, which will be the shortest path? Of course, it will be the straight line shown by the black. So that shortest path becomes the displacement. Okay, so displacement is the shortest distance traveled by an object in moving from one point to another point. There has to be a direction specified with displacement. Therefore, it is a vector quantity. One we saw without direction, scalar. Another one with direction, vector. Details of it you'll study in your 11th standard. Is it clear? What is displacement? It is also a distance, but the shortest distance. Is it clear, children? Okay. Now see, how can you remember about displacement? Displacement. Dis means change. Placement means position. So change in position. What is the change? From initial to final. Is it clear? Change in position is from initial to final. Dislocation. Dis change location. So change in location. Same way, displacement. There has to be a change in the placement, in the position, from initial to final. That shortest change, shortest distance will be your displacement. Is it clear? Now see the examples. From your home to school. The green arrow also shows one path which can be taken. Red arrow also shows the path which can be taken. Isn't it? But the blue arrow, that is the shortest path. So the blue arrow becomes the displacement. Displacement will always be a straight line because straight line is the shortest distance between any 2 points. Okay? See another example. From the start to the end, the total path covered shown by the red, that will be your distance, and the shortest distance shown by the green, that will be your displacement. Okay? See one more. From point A to point C, the object has to reach from point A to point C. So if it goes through A to B, then B to C, how much distance it will cover? AB, that is 4. Then from B to C, that will be 3. So 4 plus 3, 7. That is the total path travelled. Okay? Or it can go through the way directly from A to C. In that case, it will be 5 meters travelled. So in one case it was travelling 7 meters. In another case it was travelling 5 meters. So this is the shortest path. So the distance is 7 meters, that is the total path travelled, and displacement is 5 meters, that is the shortest path travelled. Okay? Total distance will be distance, the actual path, and shortest path will be displacement, shortest distance. Is it clear? Now, so thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. After you subscribe, press on the bell notification so that you do not miss out any upcoming videos. Stay tuned for more such interesting videos. Thank you. See you soon.